Hi, I'm Greg Denning. I know a lot of really good people who struggle with some kind of emotional issue, some kind of burden, whether it's a food addiction or maybe an insecurity or lack of confidence. Maybe it's with a relationship or even with intimacy in their marriage, or a fear of facing challenges or obstacles, letting go of something that happened in the past. And there's all kinds of ways that we can struggle and strain and kind of live in turmoil under some emotional challenges. And so I wanted to give you some things that really help. I mean, these are proven strategies. These things work. And I've seen it work in hundreds of people's lives, and it's worked in my own life. When I ended up out on my own, I had some real serious insecurities. So timidity and shyness, a lack of confidence. I had some emotional struggles and strains with loving people, with letting down the wall that I'd built up to kind of protect myself, right? And the bitterness and the hatred I had to let go from people who had wronged me, from challenges that had been it just happened in life, and feelings of desperation and even depression, and to face those and say, you know what? No, that's not the kind of life I want to live. That's not the quality and level of relationships I want to have. Because we all want to live at our best. We want to be at a great level. And in order to do that, we've got to face those emotional issues we have and overcome them. And you can totally do it. You can totally do it. So the first thing we have to do is we have to look right into the cause. What is it we're really facing? For every person that goes after the cause, there's thousands is kind of hacking away at the effect, right? Instead of going to the root of the tree that's causing problems, they're just whacking away at the branches or the leaves and having no real effect. And so you got to face what it is and get in there and say, what is it that's causing this problem? Now, almost without exception, it's our thoughts that lead to our feelings, which then leads to our desires and actions and habits. And so we start with our thoughts, and you can do thought replacements. I know this sounds like super simple, maybe too simple. And you're like, come on, that won't solve my problems, but I promise it works. You've got to use thought replacement. We all have to do it. I do it too. We use thought replacement. And so when that negative thought association comes in there, you replace it. So if you have a comfort food or some kind of emotional food you go to, right? You replace it. Either literally replace it with something healthy or good. When I was a young man, literally I could drink 2 liters of Dr. Pepper and eat half a gallon of ice cream. And it was so destructive. I was just poisoning my body. It was so toxic, right? And I had to face that. And so what I did is I got a vision. I got a vision of something I really wanted. And I wanted to be in phenomenal shape. I wanted to, get into just great fitness and weight training. And so I started reading on it, studying it. And all of a sudden, I was able to replace my thoughts. Instead of, I'll just go home and eat a bucket of ice cream, it was, wait a minute, that's not what I want to be, and that's not who I want to become, and those aren't the things I want in my life. And so I made that switch. And I thought, I'm gonna eat some healthy food. I'm gonna replace that. And when I'm feeling kind of down, I'm gonna eat something healthy. I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna go for a run. And so literally, I went from kind of bummed out to I'm gonna go grab something to eat. I switched, and I'm gonna go for a run. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna let off some steam. And so I switched the thinking patterns. I switched my identity. We'll get to that in a second. And I switched what I was turning to. Now, even as a family now, we still like ice cream. But we only eat ice cream that we make. And we make super healthy ice cream. We know all the ingredients are going in there. They're really healthy. And it's fantastic. It's so delicious. So clear those things out of your house. Like literally, if it's not in the house, you won't get it, right? And just get any of that junk out of your house. You can get the sugars and the garbage out of your life and just only have good, healthy, tasty food. You don't have to be like, here's another mindset, right? You're like, oh, healthy food's disgusting. I have to just chew on kale, Well, I could have this amazing dessert, or I could just chomp on a piece of ginger. No, thanks. No, it doesn't have to be like that. There's so many great healthy foods. So whatever it is your biggest struggle. So, take a pause right now and say, what is it? What is your biggest emotional struggle? Face it and say, what is causing that? What's causing it? And then start replacing those thoughts. Step number 2. When you're feeling great, right? When you're in a good, calm, clear-minded state, I want you to make some commitments. I want you to make some resolutions or goals, but really commitments. It's got to be stronger. You got to say, you know what? This is it. I'm making some changes. And get real specific about it. Write them down and be really clear. What do you want to achieve? What is it you want to make better? Your image of yourself? Do you want to let go of something in the past that's just been a piece of baggage? Do you want to improve one of your relationships that's always been kind of rough? I regularly get emails and messages from people saying, hey, how can I fix things with my mom, or with my in-laws, or with a sibling, or with my children, or my spouse? Things are just so tense and so tough right now, and we're walking on pins and needles, so to speak, and just like afraid to say anything because there might be this outburst and all those problems, and there's just this association that's so bad. And so I want you to make these commitments and commit to making changes. And what's going to happen is, if you decide ahead of time, okay, that you're going to respond instead of react, then you've made that commitment. And when it starts to happen, when that situation happens again, and you start to slip into it, you're going to go, oh, wait a minute, I made a commitment not to do this. So you say, I got to step back here. I'm not going to go there. Now, please be aware, whenever we try to change, there's going to be resistance. There's going to be kickback. Even in your own body, your body will be like, no, I'm craving sweets. I'm craving to do these things. And you have these emotional habits you've had for so long. You're like, no, that's what I want to do. You've got to realize there's going to be resistance. And even from other people. You might come in and say, I'm a new man. And then they're going to be like, oh, knock it off. You're still the same old. Don't expect everything to just, whoo. Notice that if there is resistance, it's often a sign that you're on the right path. And you can get there, you can make those changes. Step number 3. This one is so important. There is a universal law that strength comes in daily increments. Okay, none of us can just be like, well, I'm just going to hit the gym really hard this week, and by the end of the week, boom, right? I'll be huge. Or I'm just going to go after this skill and ability. I'm just going to go, this week, this whole weekend, I'm just going to go everything I can, and then I'll just be a master of this skill. It doesn't happen like that. True masters in any field, day in, day out, consistently building up strength. I believe it was Emerson that said that whatever we persist in doing, we become better at and stronger in. Not that the nature of the thing changes, but that our ability to do is increased. And so you might be sitting there listening to this going, oh yeah, but how am I actually going to do that? How am I actually going to face that problem or that challenge? How am I, going to let go of this grudge that I've had for years? How am I going to all of a sudden believe in myself when for so long I've had this limiting belief and negative beliefs about myself? And what happens is that strength will come day by day. Whatever it is, whether it's just getting up and doing a few push-ups every day, whether it's just resisting a temptation each day, you get stronger, right? By not doing, just face it one day at a time. Just get up and say, today I'm not going to buckle to that temptation. I'm not going to give in to that addiction that I've had. Right? I'm not going there. Maybe it's just using your time wisely. And as you do that each day, you get stronger, you get better, and it becomes easy for you. Maybe it's responding to your spouse or to your children in a new way instead of the normal, right? You're like, okay, let's take a new approach here. And as we do it each day, guess what happens? Amazing things happen. And so I want to challenge you, make sure every single day you're doing a few little things that give you great strength. That's why a morning ritual is so absolutely critical. I created a whole training on this. It's fantastic. It's called How to Totally Transform Your Life Before Breakfast. And literally, I've been doing this for over 18 years. This morning ritual will make all the difference in your life. And it includes getting some great reading in to feed our minds and strengthen our minds and get us inspired and going in the morning. It includes vigorous exercise, because when your body feels good and your heart's pumping, you're breathing, and you're just like, yeah, I got this. It's a position of power instead of like, oh, it's another day, right? You can't face life like that. You want to face it standing up with energy. Okay, so good reading, exercise, and systems, setting up systems that just work, things you do every day. And as the systems are in place, as your rituals start happening, you get stronger and better. Number 4, and this one's even better than the last one. We're building up an awesomeness here. It's all about culture and habit and identity. I kind of lumped those 3 together because they fit so well. Somebody one time said that culture eats discipline for breakfast, right? And yes, you're going to have some discipline here, some mental discipline, some physical discipline. You're going to have to say, when you're at the store, you're not going to buy those foods. You're done, because they don't come in your house anymore. Okay? When somebody starts to say something that usually sets you off, you're going to a little discipline there, like, oh, I'm not going to do it this time. I'm going to bite my tongue here, and I'm going to be better. But what happens as you start getting that discipline, you start changing your culture. You start changing your identity, like who you are, right? So I went from eating tons of junk food, and I was like out of shape, chubby, depressed, shy, reclusive, really insecure, just this unhealthy, limiting beliefs, lots of fears and doubts, and I can't do anything. I went from that kid to who I am today. I mean, total transformation, because I changed my identity. And I switched from, I don't eat that stuff. I went from, I love this stuff, to, I don't eat that stuff. And so I cut off, when I was 16 and 17, I cut off all refined sugars and junk food and carbonation and ice cream and desserts, cut it all out for good. And I just changed who I am. This is who I am. And so when somebody walks up with this big old dessert or something, like, hey, you want to try this? No, thanks. Not even a temptation, because I changed my identity. I'm like, I don't eat that stuff. I changed my identity to be, a positive, optimistic, outgoing person. Where before my identity was shy, reclusive, sit in the back, pray that nobody calls on me to speak or say anything in public, and please don't talk to me. To, you know what? Yeah, I'm here. I'm all in. I'm engaged. I'm ready to participate. I want to be alive. And as you shift and change your identity, again, going through these steps, right? First one is focus on the cause, not the effect. Identify those thoughts that are leading to it. Second, make a decision, a commitment to change when you're clear and calm and you know what you want. Third, implement daily rituals so that you can start building in the strength. And all of that, those 3 lead to number 4, where you become a new you. And you tell yourself this. Right? These positive affirmations, it's called endophagia. You tell yourself this, and you start to believe it, and you start to act on it, and you set up a culture in your life and in your home and with your family. And so now all of a sudden, you identify yourself as a person that doesn't do these things and does these things. Right? That's who I am. I work out. I read great books. I serve. I talk to people. I live great. I have awesome relationships. I'm awake, energized, and alive. I'm healthy, right? And this is your identity. And then it feeds your culture, and it feeds your habits. And once those habits are in place, man, habit is king. Habit is queen. It just works. And so the habits you have right now need to be replaced with great habits. And so we go through, and I cover this stuff in my training, my leadership series, and in my trainings and courses. Please visit gregdenning.com and World School Academy for more resources and trainings. And this is the kind of stuff. How do we set up the systems in your life so that you just face it one day at a time, and you've got it all lined up, you're ready, and you're like, okay, this is who I'm becoming, this is who I am, this is what I do, and you start doing those. And I know you're sitting there saying, oh, come on, Come on, I need some magic pill. I need some, amazing, big, elaborate, expensive system. But it's not. It's just daily accountability of these new habits, the new identity, the new culture, doing these 4 steps. It changes you. Now, please listen right here. Only one of 2 things can happen. First, you don't do any of these things. You don't get up, you don't work on them, you don't focus in on making the changes, you don't make the commitments, you don't do the daily increments, you don't change your identity, and you stay in the same trap. Or 2, you do these things every single day. And when you fall down, you get back up and say, I'm recommitting, I'm back in this. And you know what happens when you do these every day? You change. You become a new and better person. Right? And your life is totally transformed. And really, those are the only 2 paths. You either stop doing it or don't do it at all, or you do it and you succeed. That's it. And it's awesome. And I promise, I've done it. I've been there. I've felt the pain and the hurt and the frustration. I've been there on those lonely, hard nights when you just want to give up. And you're beating yourself up with regret and remorse for the things you said, and the things you've done, or the things you failed to do. I've been there. And you don't want to be there, and you don't need to stay there. And you have the power in you. You have the greatness in you to overcome these challenges. I know you can do it. So just start today. It's just one day at a time. Today, I'm going to be stronger, and I'm going to be better. Here's to your new you and your new life. Reach upward.